and you're still struggling, and you have some destructive patterns that you have been trying to break for months, perhaps even years at this point, what do you have to lose? Try this and see what happens. What's up, traders? Zach here from the Trading Network, and I hope this video finds you guys doing excellent today. I am back with another trading psychology video, although this video is likely going to be quite a bit different than most of the trading psychology videos you guys have seen on YouTube, and definitely different than a lot of the trading psychology videos that I have here on the TTN channel. Today, we are going to be discussing the neuroscience of discipline. And discipline is not just a trait. It is a trainable function of the brain. What I have realized after years of self-sabotage, tilt, and emotional trading is this. I do not need more information. I need more internal regulation. So this video is going to be about how I train my brain before the market opens and while I am trading mid-session to be calm, clear, and precise. And if you guys stick around until the end of this video, I'm going to be giving you guys a recording that I use every single day to put my mind exactly where it needs to be to execute my edge with discipline. Everything starts with the breath. Coherent breathing, 5 seconds in, holding for 5 seconds, and then 5 seconds out, literally creates synchronization between your heart rate and your brain waves. This activates the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain responsible for logic, patience, and planning. 3 very important things that we require to be in place when we are executing in the markets. That is what gives you impulse control, faster decision-making, and emotional regulation under pressure. It is quite literally one of the fastest ways to recenter yourself before or during a trading session. Now, you guys will notice here on the presentation that I have citations at the bottom of all the slides. Everything that I'm talking about today is scientifically backed. All of the citations refer to research studies that support everything that I'm explaining in these slides. So let's talk a little bit about Heartbrain Coherence and how it enhances executive function. Number one, this matters for traders because it increases impulse control. I myself have had a huge problem with impulse control, and I'm sure some of you guys can relate, where it feels like you are trading in the zone, where you are following your plan, everything is going great, and then at the drop of a dime, all of that goes out the window and you're clicking buttons after you said you were going to be done. You are taking trades that have no boxes checked according to your technical edge, and you are quite literally sabotaging yourself after doing a great job of following your plan. Number two, Heartbrain Coherence enhances decision-making speed. This is extremely important, especially if you are scalping like I am, trading NQ futures, a very fast-paced market, and we need to be processing this information and making the appropriate actions based on what we are processing. We cannot allow impulse or our decision-making to falter, because if it does, that is where, once again, the self-sabotage begins, and that is where a really good day can go to a really bad day very quickly. Number three, Heartbrain Coherence lowers cortisol and stress. This is extremely important because we need to be, once again, centered. We need to be zen. We need to do everything we can to be in the flow state, to where if we are confident enough and have enough repetition, we can be an autopilot in the best way possible, where we are just observing the market, we're not overthinking, and we are executing according to our edge. And lastly, Heartbrain Coherence brings the emotional and rational brain into alignment, which is key for continued consistent success in this game of trading. Now, most traders talk to themselves all day, speaking from experience, but it is not intentional. It is negative. It is chaotic, and it is doubtful. When I use mantra repetition like I am in control of my execution or my brain is clear and calm, it silences the mental noise. Research shows that this reduces activity in the default mode network, which is responsible for overthinking, self-judgment, and fear-based analysis, or paralysis of analysis, if you will. These mantras literally train the mind to redirect itself to clarity. And as you can see in the slide here, studies using fMRI show that repeating a mantra, even silently in your head, reduces activity in the default mode network, which is the brain's mental noise center tied to self-judgment and overthinking. This matters for traders because it calms self-criticism, it reduces over-analysis, and it increases flow state accessibility. If you guys have read the book Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, you will know how important it is to be in flow state when we are trading, or to do everything we can to achieve as close to flow state as possible. And this goes for really any high-level career that is highly required to focus when you are doing your job. And yes, I know that that's a general statement, but think about all of the careers, doctors, lawyers, when you're in court, all sorts of high-level professions, professional athletes, of course, require flow state. And one of the main things that professional athletes focus on especially is, once again, doing everything they can to put themselves in flow state. We are aware, obviously, that we are human beings. We are imperfect, okay? And we have to understand that trading is a game of mistakes. And it is when we make those mistakes that we have to recognize that we are not in the flow state, and then do everything we can to get back to that center. Now we add another layer, sound. When you combine breathwork with binaural beats, such as 10 Hz alpha binaural beats or 40 Hz gamma binaural beats, you are entraining your brain into optimal performance states. Now, this is what I'm going to give you guys at the end of this video. I'm going to share with you guys my 10 Hz alpha pre-market recording. I am grounded in process, not outcome. I do not need to chase. And you guys can experiment by listening to my recording and even taking my exact script and recording your own video. And I will even drop the exact 10 Hertz binaural beat that I use to record my voiceover. And I listen to this every single day before I trade, multiple times a day in the morning. To be honest, I've been in a routine of going to the gym before I trade, and then doing a quick recovery routine of sauna, cold plunge, and hot tub. And I will quite literally meditate in the sauna, in the cold plunge, in the hot tub before I even get to the charts. And then I will listen to this again when I get to the charts, just to ensure that I am centered and I am where I need to be mentally. These 10 Hertz alpha beats bring you calm alertness, which is perfect for market preparation and waiting on trades. Gamma is what I use for execution. Once again, I use a 40 Hertz gamma tone or 40 Hertz gamma binaural beat, which in my experience is a little bit more enjoyable to listen to than a straight 40 Hertz tone. And the 40 Hertz gamma will boost attention, memory, and pattern recognition. This helps me recover if I feel like I am getting a little tilty in real time, and it helps me shift back into clarity faster than ever. I do not exaggerate when I say I have not found anything that helps me mentally reset quicker and more efficiently than this. So as you can see on the slide here, when paired with slow breathing and visualization, 10 Hertz alpha and 40 Hertz gamma waves entrain the brain to match these frequencies, scientifically tied to peak performance and insightful decision making. This, of course, matters for traders because we need that calm alertness. We need to be calm, but also ready to pounce when our edge presents itself. It builds emotional resilience in real time, even after losses. And gamma boosts attention, memory, and pattern recognition. These are things that we will inevitably fall out of when we are trading because the market is ever changing. Things happen very quickly, and when it comes down to it, we're not going to be at peak performance 100% of the time. But the best thing that we can do, in my experience, is recognize as soon as possible when we are drifting from peak performance or flow state and do everything we can to get back there. Now, the final layer is identity. Before I trade, I quite literally visualize myself already being the disciplined, calm, and focused trader that I am. I sit and I close my eyes while listening to these recordings, while listening to binaural beats, and I visualize myself operating from the flow state. I visualize myself in a winning trade. I visualize myself being in that winning trade and it going up and up and up, and staying calm and not getting euphoric because the trade is going in my favor. I visualize myself in a losing trade going against me with my largest position size. This is very similar to what Tom Hugard talks about in his book, Best Loser Wins, except I am doing it with binaural beats to layer this productivity and ensure as much as possible that I am indeed in that peak performance. Visualization exercises might sound woo-woo or silly, but I can attest from my own experience that these are the things that have made the difference for me being a consistently profitable trader. It is not the edge. I say it all the time. You can close your eyes, pick some indicators, or have no indicators and just use some trend lines, and you can have a profitable trading strategy. But if you cannot center yourself, if you cannot recognize when you are moving from center and have exercises, have a standard operating procedure to recenter yourself, it's going to be a very difficult road. So what we are talking about here is scientifically backed methods that will help you mentally rehearse being your best self. Your brain builds the neural pathways as if you've already acted that way. So you must visualize you being your best self, not winning 100% of your trades, but actually operating like a professional trader and not getting too high on your good days or your good trades and not getting too low on your bad days or your bad trades. This reinforces emotional neutrality, and it is what lets me stay level-headed on both green and red days. It is not about hoping. I literally train my brain to act and how I want to show up. And as you can see on the title here, it says visualization and identity anchoring rewires neural networks. Neuroplasticity research shows that visualizing yourself performing with discipline, control, and clarity strengthens the same neural pathways used in actual performance. Read that again, please. Visualizing yourself performing with discipline, control, and clarity strengthens the same neural pathways used in actual performance. That is scientifically backed research that is telling you that if you visualize yourself doing what you are supposed to do, that will strengthen the neural pathways in your brain to allow you to actually do that in real life when you are at the charts. Why this matters for traders is because it builds mental repetition of your best self. You can literally practice managing trades properly without even being at your desk. I know it sounds crazy, but all you have to do is close your eyes and truly visualize. And again, this might sound wild, but when I'm visualizing, I can quite literally feel the energy focusing on my third eye in the middle of my head. And this works for me, and it is clear that it has worked for a lot of other people because we have scientifically backed research papers that support that. This also trains emotional neutrality in wins and losses, and it helps override destructive patterns. If you guys are watching this video, if you guys are in TTN, if you guys have been mentored by me and you're still struggling and you have some destructive patterns that you have been trying to break for months, perhaps even years at this point, what do you have to lose? Try this and see what happens. Now, this is not about mindfulness. You hear a lot of talk about mindfulness when it comes to trading psychology. I've even talked a lot about mindfulness in my previous videos because it is an important piece, but this is not mindfulness for relaxation. This is about mental engineering for performance. Before I place a single trade, my friends, I have already trained my breath, my focus, and my identity, as well as my nervous system. I am not relying on discipline. I am programming it. Once again, I am not relying on discipline. I am programming it so it is a reaction. It is something that my body and mind automatically do, okay? This is the same type of stuff that if you go to the golf course and you hit 100 balls every single day, you're going to get that muscle memory, both physical muscle memory and mental muscle memory. And this is the same exact thing. Visualizing, listening to binaural beats, listening to a pre-recorded mantra of your own voice talking over binaural beats, which is what I'm going to share with you guys at the end of this video, is powerful beyond any words that I can say in a YouTube video. That is how I reset mid-session. That is how I prepare myself before the session every single day. It's how I avoid tilt spirals and actually stick to my edge on a daily basis, especially scaling up your trading business and increasing size, increasing the amount of capital that you're managing, or increasing the amount of accounts that you're trading. This stuff is what will separate you from the 95+% who consistently put money into the markets, who consistently buy evaluations and lose over and over and over again. So if you guys are struggling with emotional execution, this is truly the reset and the preparation that can change everything. So a few key takeaways before I wrap up here. You do not need more information. You need more integration. Discipline is not built in the moment. It is programmed ahead of time. This protocol and what I'm going to share with you in this audio recording retrains your nervous system. It rewires your identity and locks in clarity before and even during the chaos. This is how I trade with power and not pressure. So if you guys want the protocol that I'm using or the beginning of the protocol, I'm going to share it with you in the description of this video. You can download. It is a 3.5-minute audio recording. I will also share the script, the exact words that I'm saying. So if you guys want to record your own, you are free to do that. And I encourage you guys to do that because listening to my voice before you trade will probably be helpful. But listening to your own voice over that binaural beat or that 10 hertz alpha frequency is going to, in my opinion, make even more of a difference because you're listening to your own voice, and that is what is going to sink in the most. So make sure, if this is interesting to you, if this is helpful to you, please drop a comment down below and let me know. Take a listen to the audio recording and also drop a comment and let me know how it makes you feel, if it helps you, if it centers you before the market starts. And if I get enough good feedback, I will make another video and I will give you guys my 40 hertz mid-session gamma reset as well. And other than that, I just want to thank you guys, as always, for taking the time to watch this content. And if you would like to see more neuroscience-backed trading tools and learn more about how I am using neuroscience and hard research, scientifically backed research to improve my trading and improve my flow state, make sure you click that bell and subscribe. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Trade safe.